Try not, do or do not. There is no try. This was Yoda's instruction to Luke Skywalker as he struggled during his training to become a Jedi Knight. Likewise, these words ring true in the struggle to meet the demands of motherhood, for there is no trying in motherhood, there is only doing. Whether we welcome the role or it is thrust upon us, once we've carried, brought into the world, or taken responsibility for the care and nurture of a child, we are and will always be mothers. It is a title we will wear until the moment we take our last breath, and our legacy will inform the childhood of generations to come. Motherhood is an odyssey that invites us out of the realm of the ordinary and into the extraordinary. It is a trajectory that requests of us nothing less than everything: to be relentlessly selfless, to have the willingness to traverse the darkest places within ourselves, to endure being stretched to capacity, and ultimately to be transformed into someone much braver and wiser than we were when we began. It is nothing less than a heroine's journey. Motherhood was long in coming for me. For years, I approached the subject with trepidation, my hesitancy founded to large extent in my own childhood, because for me, childhood had been a scary and lonely place. Throughout my early years, both of my parents were distracted by personal demons that curtailed their ability to parent. After my parents divorced when I was 4, I lived primarily with my mom in her adult world. As such, I bore witness to much of the debauchery of the 70s that had quickly replaced the idealism of the 60s. At times, my mom's choices for companionship put us in risky and violent situations, and there were long stretches when I was caring for myself. My method for survival was to suck it up and push my feelings far into the recesses of my body and mind. With this history in my back pocket, my transition to the role of mother has not been without its challenges. It was about a year into caring for my first child that I began to observe cracks in my parenting. As my daughter became a strong-willed toddler, a growing sense of unease began to arise within me. It was at this time that I began to bump up against strong emotions that I found hard to manage. I was coming face to face with my emotional limitations, and not surprising, these limitations had as much to do with my past as my present. Despite the inner work I have done over the years, there is a lingering immaturity that permeates the emotions I find more challenging. As a result, sometimes anger looks like rage. Frustration looks more like resentment, and assertion looks more like domination. These are the personal weaknesses that I bring to my parenting. To ignore these parts of myself means burdening the world with them, especially those who stand closest to me. Accordingly, motherhood has become an invitation to bring the light of consciousness to the shadows within me. It is nothing short of humbling to know I've hurt my children's feelings, to look into their eyes and tell them I'm sorry when I've behaved poorly. It is my hope that by acknowledging my errors to them, I am creating space not only for the healing of our relationship, but also teaching them that character includes the willingness to acknowledge wrongdoing. For as much as I love, care for, and protect my children, they are often my teachers. They are the ones who bring me the most powerful lessons about life. It is, in fact, the softness of their hearts that ever so gently points out the hardness in my own. And it is their unabashed desire to love and be loved by me that gives me the courage to question my behavior and the motivation behind it. I have no doubt I will continue to struggle with these shadows for the command of my heart. Whether I walk in virtue or vice, will be determined to a great extent by my willingness to attend to the mediation between my inner and outer worlds. This is not easy at times, as it means looking at the things within myself that I would rather ignore. But this is one of the fundamental charges of my heroine's journey. I leave you today with these words from Khalil Gibran's The Prophet. You are the bows from which your children as living arrows are sent forth. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and she bends you with her might that her arrows may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness, for even as she loves the arrow that flies, so she loves also the bow that is stable.